Sultans. We are the Sultans of Swing. Out in the barroom night, enter Patty Valentine from the upper hall. She sees the bartender in a pool of blood. She cries out, my God, they've killed them all. Here comes the story of the hurricane, the man the authorities came to blame for something that he never done, put in a prison cell. But one time he could have been the champion of the world. Yeah. 3 bodies lying there, does Patty see, and another man named Bello moving around mysteriously. I didn't do it, he says, and throws up his hand. I was only robbing the register, I hope you understand. I saw them leaving, he says, and he stops. One of us had better call up the cops. And so Patty calls the cops, and they arrive on the scene with their red lights flashing in the hot New Jersey night. Meanwhile, far away in another part of town, Reuben Carter and a couple of his friends are driving around. #1 contender for the middleweight crown. Had no idea what kind of shit was about to go down when a cop pulled him over to the side of the road, just like the time before and the time before that. In Patterson, that was just the way. If you're black, you might as well not show up in the street unless you want to draw the heat. Alfred Bello had a partner, he had a rap for the cops. Him and Arthur Dexter Bradley were just out prowling around. He said, I saw 2 men running out, looked like they were middleweights. They jumped into a white car with out-of-state plates. And Miss Patty Valentine just nodded her head. Cop said, wait a minute, boys, this one's not dead. So they took him to the infirmary. And though this man could hardly see, they told him that he could identify the guilty man. 4 in the morning and they're all Reuben in. They took him to the hospital and they brought him upstairs. The wounded man looks up through his one dying eye. Said, why'd you bring him here, for he ain't the guy. He's the story of the hurricane, the man the authorities came to blame for something that he never done, put in a prison cell. For one time he could have been the champion of the world. 4 months later the ghettos are in flames. Reuben's in South America fighting for his name. Well, Arthur Dexter Bradley's still in a robbery game, and the cops are putting the screws to him, looking for somebody to blame. Remember that murder that happened in a bar? Remember you said you saw the getaway car? You think he'd like to play ball with the law? Think it might have been that fighter that you saw running that night. Don't forget that you are white. Arthur Dexter Bradley said, I'm really not sure. The cop said, a poor boy like you could use a break. We got you for the motel job, we're talking to your friend Bello. Now you don't want to go back to jail, be a nice fellow. You'll be doing society a favor. That son of a bitch is brave and getting braver. We want to put his ass in a stir. We want to pin this triple murder on him. He ain't no gentleman, Jim. Goddamn. Reuben can take a man out with just one punch, but he never did like to talk about it much. It's my work, he'd say, I do it for pay. When it's over, I just as soon go on my way. Up to some paradise, where the trout streams flow and the air is nice. And ride a horse along the trail. But then they took him to the jailhouse, where they tried to turn a man into a mouse. All of Reuben's cards were marked in advance. The trial was a pig circus, he never had a chance. The judge made Reuben's witness drunkards from the slums. To the white folks he was a revolutionary bum. And to the black folks he was just a crazy nigga. No one doubted that he pulled the trigger. And though he could not produce a gun, the DA said he was the one who did the deed. And all the white jury agreed. Yeah! Reuben Carter was falsely tried. The crime was murder one, guess who testified? Bello and Bradley, and they both badly lied. And the newspapers all went along for the ride. How can the life of such a man be in the palm of some fool's hand? To see him obviously brave couldn't help but make me feel ashamed to live in a land where justice is a game. Now all the criminals in their coats and ties are free to drink martinis and watch the sunrise, while Reuben sits like a Buddha in a 10-foot cell, an innocent man in a living hell. Yes, it's the story of the hurricane, but it won't be over till they clear his name and give him back the time he's done. Put in a prison cell, but one time he could have been the champion of the world. Out in the barroom night, enter Patty Valentine from the upper hall. She sees the bartender in a pool of blood. She cries out, my God, they've killed them all. Here comes the story of the hurricane, the man the authorities came to blame for something that he never done. Put in a prison cell, but one time he could have been the champion of the world. Yeah. 3 bodies lying there does Patty see, and another man named Bello moving around mysteriously. I didn't do it, he says, and throws up his hand. I was only robbing the register, I hope you understand. I saw them leaving, he says, and he stops. One of us had better call up the cops. And so Patty calls the cops.